Hey there, this is Perch. So Superman Leviathan Rising, your $10 issue of the week, one of them. This comic feels a little bit. I don't know why. It feels a little bit like the Walmart comics that are coming out right now, where you have a bunch of stories in one. So one kind of thing that you need to understand if you're picking this up is that the comic is several comics in one. You kind of get that hint with the size and the list of creators at the front, but this is not going to be just one issue dedicated to Leviathan. There's a number of things going on in this comic. It's also teeing up the Lois Lane and the Jimmy Olsen series that are coming. So a couple things going on. The cover is a big. This scene doesn't happen in the cover. Well, most of it doesn't happen in the cover, where we do not have Power Girl and the Manhunter and Batwoman and Mr. Miracle. These characters are not showing up in this book, so just ignore all that. We do get some. Why in the holy hell do people like to torture me this way? We do get some Yannick Paquette art that is just beautiful. I don't know. I think he's a great artist. I wish we would see him more often, more regularly, but I think he brings a certain quality to the page, different from people like Capullo and others. But when you're reading his stuff, he brings a certain seriousness or quality to the page. I think really works. I think him teamed up with Bendis is a good move. He draws in such a way that leaves lots of room for tons of text bubbles, and that's important when we are doing Bendis. But yeah, let's get right into it. So, like I said, there's a couple comics in one. And this is very much it starts off with very much a Bendis-y story. We've got kind of this mysterious woman who is in charge of a bunch of things in Metropolis that she works from the shadows. And she's meeting up with Leviathan, who's using kind of spiral technology. A chance to use some Photoshop filters. That's nice. Get some Photoshop filters in here to make his face all blocky. And then they have a long kind of meandering conversation that is good. I mean, it's like two sort of villains maybe kind of talking talking to each other and kind of discussing things out, and how do you take down Superman, what do you do with Superman. And this is very Bendis. This is as Bendis as Bendis is Bendis. The characters, it's funny because you could kind of swap the dialogue bubbles and it would still work. It would be fine. It just, who's the mastermind? Well, it'd be a little weird if the guy with a fuzzy face was the person being surprised. But anyway, so we get through this big thing. And again, it's very much a Bendis. Here's how you take Superman. You take Superman by doing what no one's ever done before, by being smart about taking down Superman. And I get it. It's I always kind of feel this way about a lot of books Bendis writes, in that he comes up with you see here, the villains, you see, what they got to do is they got to take the hero out to the throat. They don't mess around and give no speeches, see? That's what they do back in the days. They kind of give these kinds of speeches, and it's I mean, yeah, villains have tried this before. That's kind of always a weird thing, is that they're like, nobody's ever tried to take Superman down the smart way before. It's like, and Lex Luthor has tried that, actually, to try this exact. I mean, I don't know. It's kind of weird. But it's fine. They're kind of reminding people, you got to get serious. You got to get serious when you're taking down Superman, and that's cool. So then we get a lot of, various shenanigans here at the Daily Planet, and people are walking around. They're making that newspaper, and they're working on their computers and getting them blogs up, figuring out the best possible clickbaity way. I wish with, what is her, Melody Good or whatever, Miss Good. I wish they would have made her, because she's this reporter infiltrator. She's a bad guy and she's undercover here. But I wish they would have made her like a clickbait reporter. Like she would have come in and like, nah, Perry White, see, what you got to do is you got to write the headlines in such a way that people click on them. See, you go like, a big fire is headed maybe near you. And then you got to click on it. See, it's not even in their state. But see, that's how you get them. That's how you get the ad clicks. That's what you do. I would have loved to see her kind of take that tone, rather than be a straight up reporter, but that's fine. So then, we got Superman and he's beating some people up, and they're kind of formulating this plot of like, hey, let's go kidnap Clark Kent and do that. So Superman's flying around. He's like, "Hey, this is weird. There's some people wanting to kidnap me in my apartment." And Lois is typing away with her. This machine kills fascists. Um, Computer, which is fine. That's definitely the sticker. When I see people, by the way, with their laptops, and then everybody wants to put a sticker on there, and I'm thinking, it's company property. You're going to have to scrape that thing off later. But then anyway, but they always have, there's the Snow White holding the apple, and then sometimes there's the really tatted up Snow White holding the apple sticker on the back of the Mac. But then you get the ones that are like, screw all Republicans, and they have like a knife there going into a heart, and you're like, well, you're making a statement with your Apple MacBook 13-inch Pro there. Yeah, that's a good statement. You got it. You're sticking one up for the man. Well, whatever. So Clark and Lois are debating. Hey, should I go home because there's a bunch of kind of creepy guys with guns gonna kidnap Clark Kent, and they're like, yeah, let's just roll with this. Let's just go for it. And they have some talky talk and kissy kiss, and then there they go. And Lois is making some banter. She's making some good old banter at her husband, and he goes home and is kidnapped. Okay. So then he wakes up in a like dark room with a spotlight, and Talia al Ghul is like, "We kidnapped you, and Superman's going to come rescue you. So we're going to put this, kryptonite sports vest on you and turn it on. And then when he comes, he'll be like, 'Oh no, your vest is getting me.' And then you'll be like, 'Come here, Superman, give me a hug. I need your help.' And he won't be able to rescue you, so he'll just fly away, and then we'll have to kill you. Wait, no, 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 that's not the plan. He'll die trying to take off your vest. That's what will happen. He definitely won't call Wonder Woman in like, hey, I'd like to go down there and take off this vest, but there's kryptonite there, so Wonder Woman will do that anyway. But oh no, this is trapping Clark because now they don't realize, even though he has glasses off. Talia al Ghul. This is the funny part about Bendis's comics, and again, I'm not ripping up Bendis. Well, I mean, maybe a little bit, but it's he's really determined, like making all the characters really smart. Like they're smart and they've got a plan and top of a plan on top of a plan. But they take Clark Kent's Superman glasses off, and they're like, "Oh yeah, you should put the glasses back on. Nobody don't know who you are, and no problem." And then she's like, "Oh yeah, sure, you can have glasses back. Something was weird about your face. This makes me more comfortable now that's on." And so Clark just sits there, kind of like, "Oh, I'm tired." And then we go into a story, I'm assuming by Rukka, of Lois. And part of the plan here with Lois, as Bendis has said, is to make her kind of she's more powerful than Superman. She's with the power of journalism. She is more powerful than Superman. And I mean, I always, it always bothers me when people make these big statements like that, because it's like, you've got this guy, he can fly around, he can spin the earth backward and reverse time and fly through other dimensions and heat vision and x-rays, and apparently, he can take over people's minds a little bit too. He's got psychic abilities. That's what we're finding out with Superman. He can do all these things, but no, this reporter is totally more powerful than him because the power of her journalism. And to me, it's always such a laughable statement that it defeats what you're trying to do. I mean, Superman can fly up into orbit and just like laser beam her into nothing, or Superman could fly down to the planet and say, "You know what? I have a very important thing I want to say and tell the entire world. And I'm Superman, so you're going to listen to me." And everybody would. Whereas Lois, as a journalist, I mean, she's built in 50% of the people hate her. I think that's true of any journalism right now. Is like half the people are going to hate you, and you're doing articles, and Trump is saying you're fake news. I don't know. It wouldn't it be better if saying, hey, she's super capable, and if Superman wasn't around, she'd still be a fully powerful, fully key player. She'd be one of the time top 100 people, and she's really really valuable, and she's can has a lot of strength in her own right. You don't need to say things like she's stronger than Superman. I just feel like that's just dumb. That no, then that she's not. She's not stronger than Superman on any level. She's not stronger than Superman. So don't make that comparison. Lots of people think she's strong. You can just say, no, she's a totally badass woman. And even say, having Rucka write her is a good move because we're going to give her some serious stories where she gets to shine and be strong and do cool reporter junk, and that's awesome. But just stop with a weird little like it's got to be better than this or that. I don't know. Defeats your whole purpose, I think. So she, goes and walks around her apartment a bunch and eats some vegetables and eats Martian Ben and Jerry's ice cream, and then eventually she calls Batman and says, "We need to save Batman." And so Batman and Wonder Woman like run off to go save her. And there you go. See, she's powerful. She got the Justice League to do something. So she used the Superman phone. And then we switch over for the Matt Fraction, Jimmy Olsen, and this is supposed to kind of give us a kind of a hint of what kind of crazy hijinks old Jimmy's going to get up to. And what he's going to get up to is apparently he is going to make out with a supervillain and marry her, maybe in Gorilla Land, and have some sex, and then there you go. So okay, and then Jimmy's like, "Oh, awkward, awkward. Oh, hey." And then there's a stray cat that is in the bathroom, and Jimmy's like, "I'm going to go take care of it." And the stray cat is this is the Red Lantern cat, I think. I think that's what this is. And the cat proceeds to just destroy the crap out of everything, and then the bed, and then it's purring, and then the cat vomits off blood because it's the Red Lantern cat, and that's wacky. And Jimmy Olsen's all bloody, and then then he's gonna run out to go save Superman with the cat. This is this the Red, I think this is the Red Lantern cat. I don't know. Okay, here's a Supergirl adventure. So Supergirl is showing up, and her apartment's been just blown the f away, maybe. And it's kind of a little backstory of kind of Supergirl, and this is leading into Leviathan, and they're doing some more backstory here. This is fine. It's hard to tell. Is this meant to be launching kind of a new Batman, or sorry, Batman, Supergirl book, or is this something else? Is this Leviathan comes, the big super destroyer monster, and blows up the apartment. Just that apartment though. It's amazing how these apartments are built. Like everything else is fine. And so she's kind of going to try and figure out what's going on with Leviathan. So Supergirl's also on the Leviathan hunt, but that story is the weird one. It does the others all fit in, and then Leviathan's doing something to Supergirl, I guess. So now we're back to Clark Kent, and the robot face guy is here, and it's like a mix between kind of the Saw Jigsaw toy and like I don't know, I don't know. It's a mix between something like that. Sorry, the worst analogy. It's like some alien jigsaw looking monster thing. It's ahead of Leviathan. It's definitely not Jason Todd. And he's like, "Hey, oh, whoops, I'm sorry. Did somebody put some kryptonite on you? Here, let me let you go. I'm gonna just let you go." And Superman's like, "Oh man, I'm still kind of poisoned though, so I passed out." And suddenly, Lois shows up with Firestorm and Jimmy in a gorilla costume and the Red Lantern cat, and Lois like grabbed one of Talia al Ghul's outfits. And what's kind of weird about this is she shows up like, "Who did this to you?" And he's like, "Talia al Ghul, the person you're dressed like." And she's like, "Oh, I'm gonna type the hell out of her." Like, ah, okay, strongest person. And then they some their people are getting away, and Superman flies up, and then the ship vanishes, and there they go. And big Leviathan dude's talking to Talia al Ghul, and it's like, "Hey, you're an idiot, and it's out the hatch with you." And so he just chucks it out, and she falls. But then Superman rescues her and takes her to prison. And then we talk a little bit more about, hey, this secret owner of Metropolis kills off her bodyguard, and it's like we're gonna gives Melody here a promotion. She totally should have written clickbait. Would have been so much better. Um, and somebody kidnapped Clark Kent, and we got to find out who. And now Lois is on the case with her computer. That she's using a desktop now. She's abandoned her laptop, and she's using a desktop, and that's the issue. So, despite the way you might say, "Wow, it sounds like you really hate it." No, I mean I'm kind of making fun of some of the weirder parts of it, the jokier parts of it. It's not a bad issue. It's in terms of how things go. I think that DC, well, I know that some people picked it up expecting to get like book one of an event, and that's not what this is. This is kind of just a summary of the different plot threads of Leviathan, as well as a kick jump to the Lois Lane and Jimmy Olsen books, as I mentioned. Again, not sure how Supergirl is all tied in there, but it's meant to kind of set the stage for Leviathan is coming. But if you've been reading those books, then this issue kind of feels not pointless. It feels like another chapter in that series, but it's not Leviathan starts here because Leviathan started already in kind of the Year of the Villain Zero issue, as well as the Superman book. So this isn't the start of the Leviathan story. It already started, and so that's, I think, kind of a little confusing for people. It doesn't make a lot of sense in that regard. But as just a story, as a part of the chapter, it's good. There's nothing wrong with it. It sets a stage for a lot of things. I think the Clark story is fine. It's got them interacting, and this is at least showing a better glimmer of Clark and Lois and Superman, other than this dynamic to want to make Lois a super, super big deal by talking about it rather than just having her be cool. Um, it feels like a better Superman than what we've been getting, or at least maybe a better way to put it is feel like Bendis is starting to kind of get into the groove of Superman, and that's cool. That's nice to see. I think he's starting. It feels like he's starting to get it a little bit better. I still think this whole Leviathan secret agent story, we've got to have some heavy hitters for Superman to ultimately go up with. Or, in terms of a spy story, I don't know. The Bendis Superman run has been really uneven. It's like they're still kind of searching around for what to do. But it does feel a little bit like kind of Bendis's early work with New Avengers, and it's got that kind of there's a mystery and we got to solve it, and we can't solve it by punching, and that's cool. Nothing wrong with that. It's good to have some different aspects to Superman, but it also feels like where's John Kent in all this? Is he back yet? Where's it hitting continuity wise? Is it happening before or after? Or it feels like we've lost a little bit of the kid. I do have to wonder if Bendis just hates the fact that John Kent is a thing and just wishes that character would go away. It often has that feel just in the way that Lois and Clark are kind of interacting, and it's just very, that where's the son? I don't know. It's gone. I'm just going to get kidnapped and go on adventures and whatever. The Lois story with Rukka, I think that'll be pretty good. I think Rukka is a little bit more restrained. Kind of the complaints I'm having earlier seem to come more from the Bendis side and less from the Rukka side. So I'm hoping for some real development with the character. The Matt Fraction, Jimmy Olsen, I mean, that's going to be what it's going to be. It's going to be very much a story, kind of a hybrid of Hawkeye and sex criminals. That's going to be what we're going to get. I wish that Fraction stories felt more original. There's nothing terribly wrong with them. It's just lately it feels like every Fraction story is the same Fraction story, and it just where's the guy who really wanted to break ground with new stuff? I don't know where that guy is. It's not here, but it's a perfectly fine story. All in all, is it worth $10? Is this book for you? Well, if you like the direction of Superman, if you like Bendis, if you like what he's doing, if you're really liking the feel of what Event Leviathan is going to be, then yeah, this book is probably for you. Is it missable? Sure. If you don't have the $10 and you want to just stick to the monthlies, I don't think you're missing anything here terribly. I think you're gonna, the important bits are going to get recapped in the other stories, and you'll be fine. So it's not a must buy book, and I think that was reflected in the shop. There's a lot of people who are like, $10, I'll pass. I'll just stick with the regulars, and definitely it has that feel to it, and there's nothing wrong with that. But it's it's an interesting book. There's a lot of stuff going on here, and as a setup, it works. So there you go. What do you think about it? Hey, leave a comment. Love to hear your thoughts. Like, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, tell a friend, follow me on Twitter at Comic Perch, and thanks for listening.